So yeah, Caitlin Clark is going to be an all-star. And if you guys have not seen the media, what the media are doing, I'm just sitting there like, why do they think this is going to be any different? Why did they think this was going to be any different? Because most of the media who are voting for Caitlin for the All-Star team. Why? For a number of reasons. First, Caitlin, when she's played, has been the best guard in the WNBA. She has. I mean this when I say this. It is it's not like she's like a stratospherically better than a Skylar Diggins, but she's been better when she's been on the floor than any other guard. Even in her slump, she had a 20 and 10 game. She had a 20 and 10 game in her slump. She set the record of most 20 and 10 games. She's the only guard with a triple-double. She had a 32, 9, and 8. She nearly had a 30-point triple-double in a win against the Liberty, who at that stage were undefeated. And they were healthy, by the way, and there was no slumping Sabrina Ionescu. Like, Sabrina Ionescu had 32 or 34, and they still managed to win from Caitlin Clark. It is genuinely an unquestionable one that Caitlin Clark has been top 4 guards. And I think, it's unquestionable when she's played that it's top 4 guard. I think if you wanted to not vote her in, if 50% of the media people did not vote Caitlin Clark in as an all-star, and their logic was she hasn't played enough games, and the 4 all-stars were Alicia Gray, Caitlin's been better than Sabrina up to this point. Like, Sabrina has had as many stinkers as Caitlin. No, I'll still go purely based on the fact that Caitlin's played more games. I'll go Caitlin over Sabrina, but it's close. Or I'll go Sabrina over Caitlin, or Sabrina's played more games. But at the end of the day, like, Alicia Gray is the only guard that I think no fans or buts about it you put above Caitlin Clark. Her team's been better, and she's been at least comparable on the stat sheet. Skylar Diggins is debatable. Kayla McBride, no. She missed the first 6 games of the season. Kayla McBride, no. Courtney Williams, no. Chelsea Gray, no. Jackie Young, no. Kelsey Plum, hell no. Ariel Atkins, no. I'm trying to just list off like guards, and if you're looking at the top teams, if Alyssa Thomas was in the guard category, yes. Alyssa Thomas, in my opinion, right now, is my tip for MVP because Fia's already missed 4 or 5 games, and I think she's going to end up missing a couple because it's a lingering back issue. So AT is my pick for MVP right now. But at the same time, these journalists that are making this vote, they're getting abused. And like, you don't even have to like the journalists. And by the way, I think it's a position where I don't care if a journalist doesn't vote for Caitlin Clark. If a journalist votes for Paige over Caitlin, I think it's a really hard sell for Paige over Caitlin because Paige is... her team's losing more. They've both missed... Caitlin's missed 6 games. Paige has missed 5 after tonight. Caitlin has 1 more games than Paige, despite playing like 3 less. Their stats are near identical. Caitlin's stats are better in nearly everything. I think in points per game, if I'm not mistaken, I think Paige is like right behind Caitlin. Efficiency-wise, Caitlin's been slightly more efficient just purely because she takes more threes. But like it's a debate. If you want to put Paige Bueckers over Caitlin Clark, I'm not gonna hunt you down for that. And I would say there's some UConn Homer journalists that did, and it's not a crazy take right now. They both missed a lot of games, and Caitlin is off back-to-back. I say back-to-back stinkers, but like outside of the Golden State game, outside of Golden State, it's a situation where like she was still a net positive on her. No. I think she was very much a net negative in the Aces game too, in fairness. But she was really good in the Seattle game. And she was unbelievable in the first half against the Aces. She just missed shots. So, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is for the All-Star vote. that if someone in the media has Caitlyn, I think it could be well deserved. And if a person in the media doesn't have Caitlyn, I also don't think it's a travesty. I think at this stage, if you don't have Alicia Gray on it, it might be a travesty. And a lot of people are saying it's a travesty Skylar Diggins isn't on it, but like, I don't think so. I think Diggins has had enough. Not that she's had enough bad games, but I think like the Storm are doing okay. I think it makes sense. It makes sense, but if she's there above Caitlyn, but at the end of the day, the amount of abuse that these media people are getting, because like realistically, their favorite player didn't get voted an All-Star, and because their favorite player is maybe an All-Star or maybe not an All-Star, definitely not an All-Star starter, they're trying to attack their favorite player's fake rival by overly getting mad that their second favorite player, because let's be real, these people only ever talk about Caitlin Clark. They talk about Caitlin Clark more than they talk about Angel, these fans. They'll go and they'll attack the media, they'll attack everyone. And again, they've latched on to Paige Bueckers, who, let's be real, Paige Bueckers is unbelievable. And it's not like Paige and Caitlin aren't friends. Like, they're competitors, but these are former USA teammates. These are friends. These are players that when they'll meet up or when they're in the same place with non-basketball things are friendly with each other. Like, it is what it is. Like, the rivalry's there between Caitlyn and Paige, and it's going to get hot, just like with Ronaldo and Messi, with LeBron and Steph, with LeBron and Jordan. It's going to get hostile online between fan bases, but between the two players is nothing but it's purely basketball. It's a purely basketball rivalry, and that's the real rivalry. And I mean, fans of the rebounder are trying to live vicariously through Paige Bueckers, and you know what? They've backed the right horse in this scenario, because Paige Bueckers is going to put it up to Caitlyn. I still think Caitlyn is going to be the better of the two, and I think Caitlyn is going to go down as, if you consider Maya Moore, I think peak for peak, she's going to go down as the greatest point guard of all time, and I think Paige Bueckers is going to eventually convert to a shooting guard, and I think that's where she's better, because her off ball, when she plays the point, her off ball cutting kind of vanishes. Her ability to curl off screens, get to the mid range, and I think she can play the one in a motion type offense. But like, I don't see teams running that. A lot of teams running that in the WNBA. Like, it's hard to run a motion offense in pro basketball because there's very few statless all stars, because your stats a lot of the time lead to your money. So a lot of players are not willing to be are going to be naturally selfish because it affects their bottom line. It's hard to run that offense in the pros. And I think Paige can be a point guard in that type of an offense, but like in an offense where teams are running quick hitters, constant sets in a pro style offense, or in a stereotypical pro style offense, Paige Bueckers realistically is a better shooting guard. So I think the debate is realistically going to be who's better. But it's fine. I think when it's all said and done within the next 2 years, I think there's no debate. Caitlyn's the best point guard in the W. Like, even Skylar Diggins after the game was like, even when Caitlyn had her 7 points, more turnovers than assists, Noelle Quinn and Skylar Diggins are like, man, we had to stop Caitlyn. It was like Caitlyn's passing. Caitlyn just runs the show. Like, all they were doing was like, Aaliyah had her career high and Kelsey killed it, and they were talking about how hard it was to stop Caitlyn, because that is the goal. They're willing to give up things for Caitlyn. So I think she's the best point guard in the WNBA by a long shot. And I think Paige Bueckers realistically is a shooting guard. She's Paige can play the point. I don't think Caitlyn's a very good two guard. I think Paige is a very good point guard and a fantastic two guard. But I think Caitlyn is peak for peak already the best point guard in the history of WNBA. But like, the amount of people in the media that are getting abuse for putting Caitlyn on their all-star ballots. Caitlyn deserves to be there. And let's be honest as well. Everyone in the media needs Caitlyn to be there. The WNBA needs Caitlyn to be on the All-Star team. Are we going to trust that the players are going to vote Caitlyn in as one of the top 4 or 5? Because if Caitlyn's top 3 or 4 in the media, unless the players vote her 30th, she's a starter. and she's a captain. And for the sake of the league, they need her starting, especially when, at worst case scenario, you can say it's very debatable whether she should be an all-star. If it is a case that it's or all-star starter, if it's very debatable whether she should be one of the 4 all-star starting guards, and she's the one who's going to bring all the money in, you fucking bring her. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. The rival fans, no bounds. But anyway, I'll see you guys.